I hope you're excited, Queen Bees, because I'm about to show you how to paint this Valentine's themed pop art painting using acrylic paint and markers. Let's go! Yeah. Okay, Queen Bees, so I got my colors all ready to go, and if you want to get the stencil of this very picture here, you can go in the description below and check that out. You can download the free traceable right there. Oh, and by the way, our source image is going to be right over here. What we're going to start with is some unbleached titanium white, and we're going to go grab our 3/4 inch flat wash brush, and we're just going to dip it into some water. And so I'm just going to grab the unbleached titanium, and let's see, I'm just looking at the colors that I have here. Maybe I can just add the tiniest hint of crimson red to this. Just very tiny. I barely added any on my brush. I just wanted a little bit. And then we're going to just add some titanium white on top of that. Okay, so this is just creates that nice color mid-tone that we're looking for. I think I'm really liking this based off of our source image. Okay, and then we're just going to start to paint. Now, I'm not too concerned about keeping it within the lines, so I'm sorry if this is slightly triggering for some of you guys, but that's okay. Because I just want to lay down color, just so we can get kind of like the general tone of the painting here established. This is the perfect, like, Valentine's thing. I know for me, I'm not really into the cutesy Valentine's stuff as much as I am into the more like subversive kind of pop art stuff, like this kind of stuff, you know, like the things that we normally will see, and we kind of have like a nice little tease like this kind of painting is giving us here. So that's kind of what I'm trying to go for. And I'm adding my brush in a lot of water just to help carry out the paint, and you'll notice that if ever you've worked with watercolors in the past, it kind of gives you that watercolor effect where you get a nice wash. I have to tell you guys, so I switched over to palette paper instead of using an actual like hard palette case, and it's absolutely changed my life. I absolutely love this palette paper. I forget the company name. Well, I have it in the description below, but they are phenomenal, and what's really cool is that you can just crumple it up and throw it away once you're done. And the surface is really smooth, so it gives you a really nice blending surface without you having to worry about the color seeping into the actual medium that you're using to blend your paints. Sometimes you'll get this with like plates, certain types of plates. Like if you get paper plates, forget it. Those will completely eat up your entire paint, and it's the worst. So this has completely changed my life. I love it so much. All right, so tell me, guys, what are some of your Valentine's Day traditions? Ethan and I, we usually don't celebrate Valentine's Day to like the fullest extent that I guess other people I know in my life do. Like we don't, sometimes we go to dinner, sometimes we don't really. It's not that big of a deal in our house, Valentine's Day anyways. Like obviously like birthdays and anniversaries are big deals, but Valentine's Day has always been kind of like you know what, we just need an excuse not to cook. So we just end up like ordering pizza and drinking wine or something, and then just chilling on the couch, watching like a movie or one of our favorite shows, one of those two things. So what are some of your traditions? Are you guys more kind of laid back when it comes to Valentine's Day, or you kind of like, you know, go out on the holiday and reserve at a restaurant? I have a friend of mine that actually purposefully celebrates Valentine's Day a couple weeks beforehand, like on Super Bowl Sunday or that weekend. She'll celebrate Valentine's Day. So they book a restaurant, they go, because, you know, that's when like the prices are not sky high and they're not like trying to get people to come out of their houses to eat at a restaurant, you know, like as opposed to going to Valentine's Day and whatnot. So yeah, everybody does it differently, and I always think it's fascinating. Okay, so we got that colored down. So let's see here. So once I'm good with that, let's see, why don't we bounce over to some of the shadows on our girl, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and use our number 8 detail brush, and we're going to go back to that color, that same color we were just using, and this time I just want to add a bit more of a dark tone to it. So I go in with just a tad of blue. Oh my goodness, it's not even a lot of blue that I just pulled in there. Blue can be overpowering if you don't do it a little bit at a time. So you can already see I made it darker just by adding a little bit of that blue. And then what we're just going to do is, just looking at my source, I'm just going to go ahead and add areas where I'm going to put shadow. And you know what? You can barely see that color, huh? All right, this happened a couple times too with some of my paintings, so I'm just going to add a lot more blue this time. And I'm just going to keep mixing that with some unbleached titanium white until I get a color tonage that I'm okay with, that it's not like too purple. Maybe just add a little bit of red. Yeah, so you kind of start getting like almost lavender purple. And I'm just going to keep on adding more of the unbleached titanium white. All right, I think that'll do. All right, let's go back. Okay, yeah, and I don't want it to be too crazy. I just want to show some shadow, just a little bit of shadow. Nothing crazy really. So there's going to be, I'm going to dip my brush in some water. So there's some over here, right above the top lip, just right over here. Because as you can tell, she's puckering up, right? She's kind of blowing a kiss of some sort. So when your mouth does that, you know, the rest of your features on your face are compensating for that. So like you got your cheeks on both sides that are kind of bunched up, that creates shadows, right? So I'm just going ahead, adding those shadow areas right here. And it's really not that like super noticeable, but these are little things you gotta like, look out for. So I got some on the chin right under here. Okay. Just like that. And of course, we're going to go in with our markers later on and adding all those fine details. But for now, it just adds something extra when you do actually have shade going on here. I've started to really like adding shadows and shade to my paintings, especially to my pop art ones. I think it just like, I don't know, it's just fun to blend, right? And because my previous layer is not completely dried yet, it's blending very nicely with the shadow that I'm making. So this is much fun. Okay, so I'm just adding some more shadow. Again, when it comes to shadow, you always want to think about where the light source is, right? So usually the light source will hit areas that are more prominent on your face. That's why like places like your nose, the tip of your nose, tends to see more sunlight because it's up front and center, right? Versus like the under part of your chin, which usually doesn't see much sunlight unless you have your chin and you have your head staring up into the sky. Then yeah, then that under part of your neck does get to see some sunlight, but it's not very often. Okay, and then there's some right over here as well. Some little bits of shadow. Okay, same with the fingers. Go to the creases of the hand. On the under parts, right? Like right around here is where I add my shadow. And right around here is where I add more. Once again, you don't have to be too crazy about this because this is just like the nice added details and touches. Okay. I'm just putting a little bit more here. And right at the crease right here as well, where it meets the other finger. Okay. Some right over here as well. Especially right by the cupid's bow, or the oh my god, what is this part called? The columns here. Oh my god, I just made a tutorial on this and I cannot for the life of me remember. There's these columns that are right here. Those usually see a little less sunlight, so that's going to get shadow. but not too much. Again, we're not trying to be photorealistic here, but we do want to create a little bit of value in our colors here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to give that brush a rinse. And what we're going to do next, I want to work on the lips. So let's grab some red. This is crimson. It's a really pretty color. I love that. And we're just going to add some white to that. I don't want it to be too crazy. Yeah, maybe just a bit more for our mid-tone color. Yeah, because I want this to be like a pop color, right? But I don't want it to be super, super saturated. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's nice. It's close to the pastel kind of influence here, which I'm kind of digging. All right, so take our brush and then we just fill in her lips. And you can always move to the lower number brushes, like your number 2 or 0 brush, your detail, just so you can get like nice details if you'd like. Because I'm fairly comfortable with what I have here. There's really no need for me to switch, but if you feel the need to, go ahead. You do not need my permission to switch at all when you're doing our paintings together. Okay, cool. So we got the mid-tone kind of established there. Yeah, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just going to go in with water just to fix up the edges here. That's always a big secret, is if you're working and you're just not getting that smooth line around your edges, add water to your brush, and that helps to carry your paint over. And plus, you end up using less paint in the long run, really. All right, beautiful. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna let that dry. Actually, yeah, while that's drying, I'm just gonna go back in and grab more of the crimson, and I'm just gonna blend it a little bit next to what we just did with our mid-tone, just to make sure I got a good comparison color. Yeah, that's good. That's a nice crimson. Okay, and then we're gonna go back in. I'm just gonna go to the center line here and kind of just put back some of that color. Again, it's pop art, so it's not like that critical that, you know, your colors are perfect here, but I just wanted to go ahead and add a little bit of intrigue. It's like so. Okay, so I'm not putting too much, just a little. Maybe just on the parts of the Cupid's bow as well. If you guys want to know the exact tutorial that I have about the anatomy of the mouth and how that all works and how to paint it, you can check out my video. I'll link that up here or in the description below. Okay, so I think we're good with that for now. Okay, so next I want to focus on our little candy heart here. Now, I'm trying to think of the color that I want to make for this. I'm thinking like a green, like a pale green would be really cute. So we're just going to grab some, oh goodness, I can never pronounce this. Phyllocyanine green? Whatever the case is. We're going to grab some of that and then a lot of white because I really want to get a nice pastel. If ever you've seen those little hearts when we used to get for Valentine's Day, the colors are super, super pale. Super pale. And that helps to create that nice pastel that we're looking for. Okay. So this is kind of like got a mint green color going on with it. So we just go in and we paint it. Once again, if you need to switch over to a smaller brush. It's not a problem. Actually, I might make my heart a tiny bit bigger. Very cute. So we'll leave that for a second. And I'm going to put down my brush because I want to go now to my smaller one. So this is my number 0 flat. This is really good for details. And I just want to go and add a little bit of a detail on the side just to show that this heart is kind of tilted to one side so you can kind of see the edge. So I'm just going to pretty much grab that green. I don't really want to add that white back in, but I'm just going to go to the edge here. Add that edge, just like so. Just like so, just right up to that like cusp of the heart there. Beautiful. And if you're having trouble figuring out like what this looks like, if you have these candies or if you have an actual like little thing that looks exactly like this, tip it to the side and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's this edge of the candy that shows up, and because of the angle, it's going to be a little darker. And then I think there'll be one right on this side right here. Just like so. Cool, done. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and add in her hair color, which you can add any color you'd like really, but I'm going to go with black because again, that's great for contrast, and you can just do a lot with that really. So I'm just going back in with my number 8 detail round brush, and I'm just going in at the edges here with a lot of water and just adding it in. Yeah, okay. Just follow along. Okay, so I gotta know, people. When it comes to pop art, like, where do you stand on it? Do you like it? Is this something that you want to explore a little bit more? I think this is pop art is. I don't think it's a very. I see a lot of people who are painters who don't really touch pop art very much, and that kind of makes me curious. Like, why? Why is that kind of like? Is that something that's just feels more out of reach? Does it seem like not as professional? Like, um, comment below and let me know because I've always just wondered about that. I grew up reading comics and absolutely loving the comic book style of art. And I guess that's what drew me so much to pop art, really. So I don't know. It's one of those things like I really like it. I really like the message behind it. I love how powerful it can be to convey, and that's really what art, like pop art is. Like it conveys the mundane. It can make something that seemed so boring into something that is really profound, or just like a reflection of the times, really. I fell in love with Roy Lichtenstein. He was the guy that he was the one that really, like, besides Andy Warhol, he was one of the big leaders in pop art, and he did a lot of like comic book stuff. Like he would uh, do a lot of like these big messages in these comic book style works of art, and it was just very impactful for me. It just made me stop in my tracks and be like, "Wow, that's actually an art form. Like, that's really cool." Okay, so I got the hair down, and now we got a lot of background color here to fill. So I'm trying to think, what would be a really good contrast? Let's do a light blue. So we're going to grab our, this is our primary blue color, and then we're going to add white to it, just like so. And then just go ahead and add that in. Now, I kind of toyed with the idea of giving her a shirt collar in this. Up to you if you want to do that or not. For now, I'm going to paint over it and see if I feel like putting it back in later on. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. We shall see. And I think I missed adding the fingernail color here. So for now, we're just going to go with that same mid-tone that we did with the skin. I'm just going to go and add that in, just like so. Okay, cool. So now I think we're ready to go ahead and use some markers. So these are my micron markers here, and I'm just going to put the paint down for a second. We'll keep going back and forth to it, but these will be the markers we'll be using. And I think what I'm going to go with first is a number 10, because that one's not too crazy. All right, so look in here. We're just going to pretty much outline major areas that we want to accentuate and call attention to. So because this is like a pucker, I just want to accentuate those lines to make it make sense with what's going on in the picture here. And then we're going to outline the lip. Okay, and then the mouth corners always connect. And you got the very, very wrinkly lips. That's something that you start to notice the more you make this kind of stuff, is that our lips are very, very wrinkly. So that's just always something to keep aware of as you're making lips and, you know, various parts of your body. Just notice what you see a lot of, and that's basically what you're going to at least try to emulate. So I do want to show that these are really wrinkly lips. That's just my thing. So with the markers, I'm just going to make those lines coming up, radiating up to the center, just like so. And then just come down. And then towards the bottom here, kind of the same story. So you got a little bit more wrinkles on the edges, like so. They're all kind of grouped together like that. Same here. And then as they come out, got more like that, just like so. And do you see how the shadows really look cool against like the very high contrast of the marker here? That's what makes it very fun and interesting. Okay, just like that. And then you can go ahead and add more accents to the lip if you'd like, but it's totally up to you. Okay, so once you've done that, we're going to add a little bit of a shadow underneath the lip. And I just want to add the slightest hint of a chin right there. I don't want to call too much attention to it, but just a little. All right, beautiful. Okay, and then you can go ahead and just enforce the edges here. What's really cool is that because you painted her hair black, for instance, you can always adjust the cheeks to be a little skinnier or what have you. Really, this is kind of up to you at this point. I'm just going to add maybe a little bit more of the skin features to show the pucker. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and start outlining chin. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm just going to work on the fingers. So when it comes to fingers, I mean, you basically have this all drawn out from our traceable, but I'm just using my lines and going very slow, adding in my color, my lines and all that. Wherever there's a division, wherever there's like the start of another finger or whatnot, that's when I go and highlight it with a black line. And that's the little wrinkle of the knuckle. Okay, and then you got your finger here. One cuts the nail. It curves in, like so. And then I just wanted to partially cover what's going on here with the heart. Just like so, and there's wrinkles. Basically anywhere that where there would be a wrinkle, like a joint, there would typically be like a wrinkle of some sort. Okay, and then we're just gonna add in details on the heart. Then this one we're gonna have it say forever. Okay, once again, cut the thumb here. Just like so. I wouldn't worry too much about this if you're kind of freaking out about like your thumb's not looking good or anything like that. Don't worry too much about it. You can always crop this bottom part out if you need to. Yeah, you know what? Now that I'm looking at this, I think I will put a like a collar of some sort. So I'll just add that here, and add that here, and I think I'll just do stripes. Some sort of texture is good. That helps to differentiate it from other parts on the painting. So I'm just going to do that like so. Yeah, I think that helps to separate it out and gives it a really cool effect. Okay, and I'm going to switch over to a bigger marker this time, just so I can go in and now clean up the edges of different areas here. I usually like to do darker lines on like major areas like this, like darker, thicker lines anyways. And wherever there's details, I leave it kind of thin. It kind of gives it more of a comic book feel anyways, so that's kind of why I like to do it. why not? I'm gonna just color in this area here. Again, pop art is like a big contrast too, so I like putting in a lot of contrast. Patterns are really great to do this with. Okay, now lastly, I'm just gonna grab our paint one more time. And I just want to add areas of highlights. This is something that's kind of like a trademark of mine. I really do like adding highlights. So all you gotta do is just dip in. I'm gonna use my number, what is this, number 2? I'm gonna use my number 0 flat brush. And we're just gonna go into areas where I think I would see some highlights. So let's see. I would usually see highlights like around this area of the mouth, like around the skin, because it's being pulled from the pucker. So of course it would have a kind of a lighter look to it. Just like so. You don't have to add too much, just a little. And of course, the lower lip tends to see more light, therefore that's going to get more highlights to it. Like so. Put some right here. And some by the Cupid's bow, just like so. Again, it's fresh. It just adds like a nice, cleaner tone to it all. And you know, I'm gonna give her white nail polish, because why not? Just add it in there. And so over here as well. I'm always going back in with water to help my paint flow. And you know what? Because I want to, I'm just going to add some white stripes alongside the black. Again, for added effect. Because I want to. Added effect, contrast, what have you. Some highlights around here. In this area. With her hands. Thumb. Parts of the chin. Just like that. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, and you can even go ahead and add like details to her hair if you'd like. I'm just gonna add it towards the edges just to show that she's got like shiny hair. This is just like a little trick. You don't have to do too much. Just a little to show some shine. And maybe some like here. Kind of just rolls up a little bit. Like right here. And you can just like take liberties with the white line in the hair. Like you can go up a little higher if you'd like. But you don't really have to if you don't want to. Okay. That's how you go about doing a cute little pop art Valentine's gift. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a like, and to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button. You know what to do so that you can see more fun videos from me to you in the future. Alright, everybody, love yourselves and always have fun with your acrylic paint. See you all next time. Bye!